Okay, welcome everybody to the latest edition of Attitude is Everything, where I'm speaking to business owners that have refused to give up during these testing times, and in fact, actually not only surviving, but they're thriving as well. So in this episode, I welcome David Proud, owner and film producer of Proud Business Productions. How you doing, David?
I'm glad you got that bit right.
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
we've been threatening to do this for some time, right? So we finally got round to it. So welcome, mate. I'm looking forward to this one.
Thank you for having me on.
So if you can just give a quick overview of who you are, what you guys do, what your business is, and a quick description of that, please. Be great.
Yes, I've been producing high quality business films for it's coming up 9 years now. And although there's a lot of video production companies, one I've learned, especially over the last year or so, is normally you'd get a video back from your production company. They'll go, here you go, here's your video, what do you want with it? And most businesses don't know what to do with the video. They don't know how to market it properly so you actually get the return on investment. So I've been doing a lot of learning about how to set up your video properly on YouTube and on the social media platforms so you actually get the views and you get the return. So as well as producing the high quality videos, I actually help them get on as well. So it's all about getting your return.
Awesome. So we're going to come to that actually, about how you've changed and adapted throughout this time. Which is impressive in itself, but we will definitely touch on that a lot more in more detail. So, what sort of clients do you work with at the moment?
My bread and butter are product businesses, because as you know, to be a product-based business, you always got to be innovating new products to stay relevant in the marketplace. So you want good quality videos to promote those products as well. It's all good having images and things like that, but people actually want to see something being used and see the benefit themselves.
Yeah.
Bread and butter going into more sort of estate agents, letting agents, all the property side of things as well. I've been doing a bit of work with local companies doing that because, again, if you're selling a house or you're a developer and you're trying to sell yourself to investors, actually showing people around the house is a great way, especially now, because getting house viewings is a lot harder. It's a great way of actually people imagining them in space. Yeah. So they're my two main areas, but I also do things like social media videos and things like that. Nowadays, people don't want to be sold to in the traditional way anymore. They need help solving their problems. So if you can produce videos that help them and give them value, they're more likely to become your customers in the long run.
Exactly. You're answering all my questions in one there, David. So I think this interview's done. But yeah. So you work with. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming. So, but you work with all different types of clients, right? So I know some of the clients that you work with. You work with one-man bands, or startups, all the way through to multi-million-pound businesses, right? You've got you do different aspects and different roles for each client.
Yeah. It's cool. Different types of videos are going to work for different businesses. So if you're as I said, you've got product-based businesses, you want the feature-rich videos. But then if you, like you said, one-man band, maybe you're a plumber, the social media videos are going to work a lot better. You can say, here's how you bleed your radiator. Here's how you fix a leaky tap. So it's finding the right type of video for them and their customers. Really, you got to know who they're targeting to make the right sort of content to apply with them.
Sure. Okay. And so let's look at, we're talking about the whole COVID thing and this whole, lockdown, and we think that there might be another one coming maybe, or there's talks about it, right, as much as they're trying to put it off. Let's go all the way back to March, right? A question I'm asking everybody that comes on to these interviews, really. When was it that you first realised how big COVID was and how much it was going to impact your business?
I realised how big it was probably middle of February when it was, spreading all over Europe. But it wasn't until a week before lockdown when it was sort of like everyone's starting to quiet down a bit, work sort of drying up a little bit, and obviously lockdown hit, and it's, wow, okay, my job is to go out and film people. I can't do that. So that really hit, and I had to rethink what I was doing because I need to earn money. So I've sort of, there's two different ways that I've gone about changing what I do. First of all is people still know, and especially over lockdown, people have seen the benefit of video because they've had more time, so they've been doing it themselves. But those people now, they're getting back to the work, they're getting busy, they haven't got time to do it.
Yeah.
So what I'm finding more now is people sending me their footage and then I'm editing videos together for them. So that's a service I'd do before, but it wasn't something I'd be pushing. And then the other side of things, I've been running my YouTube channel for about a year now, giving out advice on how to promote your videos yourself. But I want to move that into more of a course. So I'm currently developing my video editing course. So it will be, you take your footage and then I'll show you make a proper edited video with intros, music underneath it, nice cuts and things like that. So it's taken a bit longer than I was expecting it to take, but it's in the works.
So you noticed that. So okay, so you changed quite a lot of your business, right? You've changed the model, so quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You noticed, did clients start dropping off? Or was it just that you just couldn't go? You physically couldn't go there, so therefore you didn't actually have stuff on the product ladder really as such to step in straight away. Is that right? Okay.
That's exactly it. Because since about July, it's been slowly picking back up again. So my regular clients have all started coming back again.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding right now is I'm sending out more quotes than I ever have at this time of year before. But people aren't really committing at the moment. And I think it's probably because of the fear of a second lockdown. They don't spend this money and then they got to worry about paying their staff when they're not getting any money coming in themselves. So it was sort of sneaking back up again, but I've got a job next week, which is really good. But it's not up to the level that it should be.
But that's really interesting, right? Because, throughout this whole thing, I've talked to people and said, whatever you do, do not stop your marketing. Do not stop, the way you're selling. A lot of people, and we'll come to this, a lot of people have said, don't sell in this kind of market. I totally disagree. I think you need to sell in a different way. I think you need to sell with empathy. I think you need to be very aware of that there are people that are being affected massively, but I don't think anybody can be blamed for trying to keep their business alive, right, and selling and things like and still contacting people. So if people are looking to get videos made, what I would say is, if you're looking to get those made, just because there may be another lockdown, then it's better to get it made now, right? And then you've got more content to release when that lockdown comes, because if there is a lockdown, then it all goes virtual again, right? So it's still there anyway, but it's going to be even more so. So, I think, people should not be stopping marketing, whatever goes on. I'm not saying they need to throw big bundles of cash at it or whatever. They just need to continue marketing.
You got to look at the other side of things as well. How much did social media numbers go up? How much did YouTube watch time and stuff go up, especially at the early part of lockdown, because everyone's stuck at home?
Yeah.
So why would you not prepare for that now? If you're thinking we're going to go into another lockdown, why not prepare and have that content so you're going to be ahead of the game, whereas everyone else is trying to play catch up again?
Yeah, exactly. So so that started to happen to your business, right? What decisions were you faced with when that was happening? We're going back early days now, right? So we're talking about sort of when this happened in March, April. What decisions were you faced with? Was your head all over the place? I've talked a lot about this roller coaster, about people going to denial, chaos. They go into all different states, and they go into panic, and things like that, and they get a bit angry and bitter about what's going on. And then when if you can come through the other side of that, some people unfortunately are still going through that, but if you can come through the other side of that, you can see things a lot clearer, and you can then start to make decisions. So what sort of decisions were you faced with at that point?
it wasn't so much decisions. I mean, yeah, like you said, my mental state is sometimes all over the place, not as much as it was, but sometimes you get, oh, what's going on? It's the uncertainty of not knowing what's happening. But for me, I saw it as an opportunity straight away to do all those things that I've been saying I'm going to do for this, but haven't had the time to be busy with client work. So it's things like setting up my lead generation video series and filming it and getting that online, which is all online now. Doing this editing course as well. You know, it's upping my game on my social media, which I think is starting to pay off a bit now as well. I just saw it more as an opportunity. Still had that, I think everyone does, when you have those days when you get up and you think, God, this is really tough. Why am I doing this? But then you sort of get past it and you got to focus your energy on the things that you can control and can do.
Yeah, and I think that's important. You know, that's what I say to a lot of my clients. You know, focus on controlling the controllables. You know, all the stuff that's out of your control is nothing you can do about it. You can only control, you know, the controllables. So, so you've had these decisions. So, you know, I know because we've kept in contact and we've worked together and stuff like that in the past. And I know that, you know, I was running some free webinars and that you were really active on those. You were really, you were vocal. You put a lot into those as well. You joined them most days. So, you know, it was obvious that you were not just sitting back and doing nothing. You had taken those decisions to say, right, well, I'm going to up my game. I'm going to up my knowledge. I'm going to, you know, become a better version of me. I'm going to add things to my products, to my product ladder. So, you know, you've talked about a couple of those now. So do you feel that not only has that helped you now, but it's also helped you probably bulletproof you and bulletproof your business for the future as well?
It's getting there. I've got plans in place to do it. I'd say if we went into tomorrow, it's not where I want it to be yet.
Yeah.
But as well as the editing course, made me think, well, if I have just that one course, what about if I had another one? What if I had advanced editing? What if I had a course about how to take better footage yourself? How about if I had a course about lighting, doing proper lighting? And then once I got a base of courses, I could then flip it to a membership site where they pay a monthly fee, they get access to all the courses, and then they get so much of my time, or I do a Zoom call once a week where I do a specific topic. So it's made me think about branching out a bit more. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I never would have thought about doing all that sort of stuff. So I've got the plans in place, but it's still that balance. I think every business owner has of working on your business and in this. And over the last few had client do, so everything else gets put on the back burner. So it's getting past that and getting to a good balance of, working on and working in my business, because it's not quite at the point where I'd be happy for, you know, if you wanted to go away for a couple of weeks, that sort of thing, and you're still earning, it's not quite there yet, but it's getting there.
Okay. So we need another lockdown, is that what you're saying? Give you some time to get that stuff sorted. We'll see what we can arrange for you. But,
we can add a couple of hours on the day. That'll really help.
I've heard that. How many times do you think I've heard that? There's not enough hours in the day. There's not enough days in the week, right? How many times do you think I've heard that?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, you know, where are you looking to take, you know, you've talked about the business now and some of the things that you've brought in. So where are you looking to take it going forward? What's your vision for Proud Productions?
So I had this plan before, but it's put it back a bit. But I want to build a team around me. At the moment, it's me. And then if I need an extra cameraman, if I need a sound guy, an editor, I'll freelance them out. It's the cost down for the client. But I want a team. My original plan was by the end of next year to have 2 people and an office. And then in the next 5 years, have a 5-person team. I need to reevaluate how quickly I can do that now, as the work isn't where it needs to support that. But that's the long-term goal. So, I mean, you've said it yourself. It's, you know, have you got a job or have you got a business?
Yeah.
At the moment, it's a job, but I want to turn it into a business so I can step away for a little bit and still be earning money and not have to worry about that side of it.
Okay. And how have you, so on that really, have you had to change your marketing at all from what you were doing? So actually, before we go into that, so I know you do a lot of networking, right? You did a lot of face-to-face networking, which obviously now You know, that's not a possibility. So that's all gone virtual. You know, you're very well known in the local area and that around the networking and that. So how has that affected you? Did you have to overcome anything there? I mean, obviously, you know, you're used to, it sounds obvious and people say, well, what are you talking about? You know, you do filming, but actually you're used to being the other side of the camera, right? So how was that? How was it for you? Did you have to overcome anything there, or was you any head tracks?
Oh
or
yeah,
you're okay with it?
I'm okay with presentations and speaking anyway, because I come from a music background. So one of my main loves was getting up on stage and performing. So that wasn't, but that was one of the big things at the start of lockdown. Actually, you just reminded me, so I sort of forgot about it. One of my big plans for the year was to give a presentation or a talk every month,
Right.
At least one a month. But I got just getting going. I was going to networking events, and people were going, "Oh, I've seen your stuff," you know. And then obviously that all stopped. So it's getting that going again and finding a way to do a presentation line that's a little bit different as well. So that's what I've been experimenting with. I mean, I've got a nice setup now, so I can actually do a presentation and show video examples and all things like that through Zoom.
Yeah.
So that was one of the challenges. It's all about learning, isn't it? And upping your skills. If there's something that you can do, you can easily find a way to learn how to do it.
Yeah. And so how important has that been, that continued networking for you? Because I know you've got quite a community around you as well, right? You mix with, you know, like I said, you're very well known locally. You know, you've got a lot of clients locally. So, you know, how important has that been to you to be surrounded by those people? Because, you know, let's face it, everyone's gone through the same stuff, right?
Yeah. It's the networking I do, BBN, which you've been to as well. It's for me, it's like we've had Brian Wakefield on show before.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, it is a community. So as soon as it happened, Brian was a bit hesitant about doing the Zoom meetings at first. And then everyone said, no, I need this connection with people. And then since then, it's just grown and grown, because it's more than people just going in for business or looking to sell themselves. It's people wanting to help each other and give people advice. So that was, especially at the beginning of lockdown, that was one of my big things, was I want to help people get going. I was giving out a lot of advice on equipment, about giving feedback on their videos so they can improve next time. So you get something both ways. You know, you get the help when you need it. Like this morning, I was talking at networking about a problem that I got with a client that's gone a bit dark on me. So I'm getting help there, but then it's give the help as well. Because I really enjoyed doing that. That's one of the reasons I got into business, because I really like helping people. Although it sounds cheesy, it's true.
But you can tell you do, because you put so much free content on. You know, I mean, if only I was half as, you know, sort of, I don't know, intelligent as I probably should be, you know, I'd be able to take that content in and actually do something with it, right? Instead, I need to get someone like you to do it for me. But you know, I mean, some of the content, honestly, the content you put out there, it's all free, right? I mean, everybody should be looking at your YouTube, following you on YouTube, because the videos are absolute top class, you know. And but I've noticed, in all honesty, so I've worked with you before lockdown, but and you were great then, but I honestly have noticed a shift in you, you know, how you've just got better and better and better. Like you said, you've just become a better version, right? And you're just learning and learning more and more stuff, and the content that you're putting out has just improved massively, even, you know, in these few months. Would you agree?
It's funny you say that. I was going back through some of my old YouTube videos yesterday, because I always go back and I update things like the thumbnails and the descriptions, just to see if by tweaking things, testing and measuring whether it gets new views. And I was looking at one of my old videos, one I made about ago, and I was like, the content is good, but my delivery and the way I talk to camera is really stiff and there's no personality there. So, I mean, it's one of my beliefs, and one of how I live my life is I want to be better today than I was today.
Yeah.
And, you know, I try and read a book every week or listen to an audio book. One of my morning routine involves 10 minutes of reading. So it's amazing. The one thing that I really notice, if I don't read anything for a couple of weeks, my mindset is completely different. Just the act of reading and taking information, I suppose it gives you inspiration, or it makes you want to do more. It makes you want to be better. So you actually have to start at that, get that inspiration to get going in the first place sometimes.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that, right? You know, you actively have to work on yourself, right? It doesn't just happen, right? It's like somebody goes thinking about going to the gym and getting fitter. It's just not going to happen, right? So you actively have to go there. So what else do you do? Because that's really interesting, because I know you do a few things, don't you, that keeps your mind active, you know, keeps you positive, keeps you in a good place. What else do you do?
I do meditation in the morning. So basically I have a routine, and I've been tweaking it as I learn what works and what doesn't. But basically, get up, drink a pint straight away in the morning to rehydrate yourself.
Of
do
beer,
10 minutes of exercise. Yeah, whatever works, mate. Whatever works. 10 minutes of exercise. That could be something gentle, or I might go out for a run. Do 10 minutes of meditation to get my mind all awake. Do 10 minutes of reading to get myself inspired. And now I've just added in the last week, I'm doing 10 minutes in Italian as well. So it's, you start the day as you mean to, don't you? So by doing that, I'm waking up my body, I'm waking up my mind, and I'm waking up my crazy to get ready. And that seems to keep me going throughout the day.
Is this inspired from The Miracle Morning or something like that? The book, The Miracle Morning?
I did read that.
Yeah.
I took parts from that and then added in. Gets up at 5:30 in the morning. It just doesn't work for me. So, and there's other things I'd like to bring in from The Miracle Morning, like doing the visualizations and things like that. But for me, it's step by step. If I try and do it at once, then I'll do it for a week and then I'll fall off. Whereas if I add little bit by bit, then build the habit up slowly, then it's going to stick.
Yeah, and that's key, building it into a habit, isn't it? Making it a habit, and then, like you say, it then just becomes into your subconscious. It just becomes something you do and don't even think about, and then you can add something else in. You know, and it's really interesting when you talk about the visualizations, you know, the I am statements, the affirmations, stuff like that. Really, really powerful. And anybody who's watching this who doesn't do them, it sounds a bit happy clappy, right? But it's one of the actions that the most successful, you know, when you look at when you study the most successful people on this earth, one thing that nearly all of them say, if not all of them say, that they do is affirmations. Really, really powerful. That it feeds your conscious mind, and which then feeds your subconscious mind. Becomes habit. You start believing it, it becomes true. You know, so
yeah, but it's deeper than that. I am a very based person. I'm very scientific. So when I first heard about that sort of stuff, I was like, no, it's not for me. But then I read The Answer.
Right.
I don't know if you've read that one.
No, I haven't. No.
And okay, it's really good. And basically, it breaks it down. It works. So in your brain, got a section called activating system.
The RAS.
Your RAS.
Yeah.
So that's if you. Yeah, you're driving down the street and you see the same car as you. It's because in your brain, you know your car, so you're going to notice it a lot more. So that's how the visualizations work. If you every day you're seeing in your mind that you want, then your brain is going to look out in every day for ways to make it possible. Yeah,
exactly. And the reticular activating system is actually the part of your brain, right? So it's like when you hear a word for the first time that you haven't heard, or see somebody on the telly or something, and the next minute, later on that day, you hear that word again. Right, and it's just bizarre because your mind is tuned into it now. So when you tune into your goals and your beliefs and everything, what you believe to be true is true, right? So, but yeah, no, it's really interesting. So it's really, so you found that's helped you out massively throughout this time as well, right? Rather than just sitting around. And it's not, you actually cut out when you said a pint in the morning. And that's why I said a beer. So just to let everyone know, David doesn't
water.
Drink beer in the morning. Well, not that I know of anyway. So yeah. So all right. So moving on swiftly. So how do you feel that your business is, or what have you learned about your business during this time?
Well, there's that initial shock, I think. If something like this happens, which can at any time, I wasn't prepared for it. You know, you can have as much savings in your bank as you want, but if you're not having money coming in, that's going to run out at some point. So I wasn't diversified enough. I didn't have enough products that could be sold online. So that's a learn of, you're never going to, you shouldn't just rely on one source of income for your business. You should have, what I mean by long-term life goals is to have multiple properties that I rent out as well. So focusing that sort of thinking, but on my business, what can I do to help people that they're going to be willing to pay for?
Yeah, and it's having that multi-stream, isn't it, of everything, right? So it's like when I speak to my clients, and you have the multi-streams of income, you have the multi-streams of marketing, you have the multi-streams of sales. You know, you have all these different ways of. So if one fails, which it will at some point, you've got the others to fall back on. You know, while you're reinventing a new one. So, or the existing one, or bringing in a new one. So what would you say you've learned about yourself as well during this time?
It's a deep question.
Yeah, I'm a deep person, David, you know that.
That maybe I've got more resilience than I thought I had. A tough time, but you know, if you can get through that, if you can survive, if you can keep working even though things are against you, then you can get through anything. Once things return to normal, it's going to be a lot easier, and I'll have that. I mean, I'll remember a long time ago when I first started working. I was working at a retail chain, and I found the work quite hard. But then they sent me off to go and build another local store, and that was like really hard work. You know, long days, really tiring. So then back to my normal job. This is easy. I can do this all the time. So I think it's that sort of thing. If I can get through all this, if I can have a successful business at the end of this, then it's going to be easy when things open up a bit more and get a bit more normal.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can definitely agree with that. So, you know, I've set up businesses in the last downturn, and people thought I was mad. But if you can set that up, you know, and it's lean and it's streamlined, it hasn't had the good times yet, so it's not become fat and lazy as a business, right? So if you can set it up and keep it lean and keep it going and everything, when the good times come, you're brilliantly positioned for that. You know, the businesses that are suffering at the moment are the ones that have become fat and lazy and not adapted. So, you know, there's a slight caveat with that. We haven't, everybody says, well, we've been through stuff like this before. We haven't been through this before, not in our generations. And, you know, no one has. Yes, we've been through downturns and issues like that, but they've not been on this scale, certainly not with a pandemic as well. So, you know, it's an interesting time to say the least, but it doesn't all have to be doom and gloom, right? There's a lot of businesses doing very, very well out there. There's a lot of people like yourself that are building knowledge, getting your business even better than it was before. And the future is good for those that are willing to adapt and change. And like you said, you said it there, the new normal. We don't know what that new normal is yet. We don't know when that's coming. We can only control the controllables, right? Which is what we said earlier. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good point to end on, I think, really there. But so look, I really appreciate your time, mate. You know, you're a great guy, you're a great talent, and you know, you just keep getting better and better all the time. So you deserve all the success that's coming. I appreciate your time, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on.
Cheers, David.